Have you ever felt like you need more group casts in your life, that you just have to sport the name of your favorite podcast in public for all to see? Well, you're in luck, because for the next few weeks we're doing a Teespring campaign to sell our lovely logo on shirts. Check down in the links to get one for yourself, and if we reach our goal, we'll pump out more designs as time goes on. The campaign only lasts until September 23rd, so pick one up soon. And now, the theme song. Ladies and gentlemen, step right up, step right up! Beyond the threshold of this theme song lies the greatest show you've ever heard. A podcast where the topic is everything our fine specimens can think of. That's right, sit on down and have yourselves a listen to Groupcast. At center stage is Casey, creator of the show and part-time llama enthusiast. You know, Big Bird's head kind of looks like a cross-section of corn on the cob with a face attached to it. In the animal tent is Erica, the tumbler wonder, single snake charmer, and long scarf wearer.
Sheep are land clouds.
On a soapbox, somewhere in the hedge maze, is Lennon, the comedian with a heart made of video games.
Bit me with my own teeth.
In the wrestling ring is Wes Williams, whose soul is a lockbox that contains rock and roll furiously making out with Chun-Li.
The cow says, moo. The machine gun beaver says, hail Satan, eat pussy.
Now, without further ado, let the show begin! Hey everybody, welcome to Groupcast.
Oh my god.
We're here again.
It's another podcast.
Episode 138.
What are the fucking odds?
That it's 138?
It's another podcast. It's been a podcast 138 times in a row.
Yeah, it's a
now.
1 in 1 chance that
You think
there's a
eventually it
podcast.
would be a game show?
Has there really been one every week?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say.
He'd be in the 200s by now, I think.
Yeah,
Probably.
well, I mean, just recently. There's been one every weekend. Or
Nope.
every week.
We missed one
We didn't do one like 2 weeks ago.
because everybody was like... And that's what?
They were like, what?
They said nothing.
There you go.
That's why there was that pause
There was
there.
that pause.
I like that
there.
physical humor on a podcast.
Exactly, yeah. There was an episode
I
where
thought
I
you were
got
going to
so
say
mad at
physical
everybody
humor on a
for
Pop-Tart.
That was the same episode where Erica brought her snake again.
Which
Oh,
one?
yeah.
I've only brought him on once.
Yeah, that was the one where you got angry.
It all adds up.
The one I got angry with the popcorn?
Also featuring Wes Williams.
Finally.
Finally, yeah.
Come back to Groupcast.
Yeah, it's been...
You're like 2 episodes behind where we wanted you to be.
I was going to say, there's no sixes in it.
Well, we
I
also...
feel like we have a lot to catch up on, you guys. Like,
I think
I
I
do.
too.
I think
It's
it's
been-
been
it's
3,
been-
4 months maybe since
Yeah,
we've
it's
seen
been
each
at
other.
least
possibly.
13
I've only been on
14
twice
weeks.
since my
Wow.
birthday party.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, of
is that
course.
Is that an okay topic?
Of course.
We've done it
We've
before,
talked about
but
it
you
before,
haven't been
but-
here for it.
But it's fun to talk about anyway.
Can I just point out the fact that it took me, after my friends told me what happened, because literally, no memory, passed out from
I want to hear
10 to-
your perspective.
from
Of
10 to 2:30.
minutes.
It's a
I
short.
still feel so
short
bad. I
recap.
still feel so bad for that.
No, like my perspective of that was I was like, Erica, I'd really like to come to your party. Do you mind if I show up a little bit late? And she's like, oh, it's all good. And I
wasn't drunk then.
I had just done a show that night, so I was getting out late, and I drove down here, and I show up, and I'm like, where's Erica? And they're like, she's in the yard. And I just think, like, oh, she's, like, doing things
Yeah.
in the yard. She's just, like,
In the yard.
just, like,
She's raking leaves.
passed out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ah, shit. And, like, everybody's like, well, you know, the birthday girl had a couple too many drinks. Like, let's go get, some food and drinks. And so I walk inside, and, like, I think I just get some, like, chips and dip. And I'm standing there, and this girl just comes up, and she's like, time to go! And I was like,
No?
I was like, I just got here. It was a really long drive. And she's like, Erica's sick, and everybody needs to get out. And I was like,
Yeah, that's about how it was.
Yeah, more or less.
I was
Yeah,
like,
that's how I figured it went.
Yeah.
but no, I was like, come on, like, can I hang out a little bit? And she was like, no, she's sick. And it's like the thing that sticks out to me is she goes, it's not her fault. She's sick. And I was like, no,
Yes,
it totally
it is.
is.
It's all my fault.
It is
That
by
was all
definition
my fault.
100% her fault.
I'm the one who drank all that. But no, apparently when you came up to me in the yard, you said happy birthday, and I look up at you, and all I say is, thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
And Kayla told me that. I'm like, why would I say Steve? And then it dawned on me, thanks, Steve. I'm like, Jesus Christ. At least I can manage that when I was drunk. But I didn't wake up till 2:30. And I wake up, my first reaction is...
You still had your Harrisburg comedy memes preloaded, ready to go.
But I wake up at 2:30, and my first question was, where is everyone? They said, we kicked them all out. I'm like, Oh no, was Wes here? Did he show up? Because he drove forever.
I mean, it was fine for me.
And then I
because had
sent
to
you
leave
like a huge
anyway.
paragraph. I'm sorry.
Like
I'm sorry.
the moment Amber and I were like, yeah, we're probably going to leave now, that was the moment that What's-Her-Face came out like, you guys need to leave.
Yeah,
We
she
need
was
to take-
real mean.
We need to
She was
take
kind of a
care
cunt,
of
yeah.
our friend.
Like,
It
she
doesn't-
acted like
it-
I made it happen.
It doesn't surprise me that that's how it came out of
Yeah.
her mouth, because I know her.
Yeah.
So
So I know
Yeah.
that she's a bitch.
that's why I apologized
And
500,000 times.
There was right before she told us, Rolls and I were in the kitchen, and we were talking bullshitting about whatever. And
Well,
he
she
had
was
made a
also
drink.
drunk, too.
He had made a
So
drink,
that added to
and he
it.
had gone through about a quarter of it so far. And she came in and he's like, everybody needs to go. And he's like, well, I just made this drink. I'm going to finish this drink. And she's like, well, you better hurry. It's like, I don't fucking need
It
to
wasn't,
hurry
what,
about
5
anything.
minutes 5 minutes before that, she's like, Rolls, can you take me home?
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah,
that, like,
she
5
wanted
minutes
the,
before?
yeah, she wanted like Rolls
Did
to
that
take him
whole
home or
debacle
something.
ever
The
resolve?
debacle.
Thank you.
Debacle falafel.
Did that debacle ever resolve?
Which debacle?
The one where
She deleted Rolls for
she
the...
deleted Rolls and then like
No, she
it's
never
resolved.
added-
I'm
she-
sure it's resolved in the sense that Rolls doesn't give a fuck anymore, and
Yeah,
she
okay.
probably doesn't.
They
even remember
added
who
each
he
other.
is.
They became best friends that night. But then Rolls, whenever gay marriage, the whole thing across the country went, Rolls made a very sarcastic post, because I know he doesn't care either way. But
Yeah.
he was like, there goes the neighborhood. She took it as him actually meaning he didn't like gay people, so she deleted him.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
And well,
I had to,
it was the thing about she was having a birthday party next week, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Rolls, you should come out to my
You
birthday
need to
party."
be my shot buddy.
and then,
Yep.
like on Thursday or something, he's like, "Am I still invited to this party?" And she never sent him anything again.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I like Rules, but I could see how if you met him on the wrong night, you'd be like, "What a fucking prick!
Of course.
What a strangely smug prick for someone who has nothing going for them."
Well, she loved him that night because she was already drunk, and he kept drinking a lot,
How
so
can you
she
be
loved
that
him.
smug when you look and act like that? Like, he's not brilliant. He's not smart. There's nothing in particular he's very good at. But he walks in the room
He's
like he
real
just
good
got
at
back from
busting
the
kids.
moon. Like, he always acts like he just
Like
did
he
something
just
great.
got back from the
Yeah,
moon.
like he just put a fucking flag on Mars and,
and
he
then
just
he
walked
pulls
back
his
through the
glasses
door.
down.
Alright, bitches,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Like, he's the kind of guy when he
Thanks,
walks into
Grover.
a room, you can tell, like, entrance music is in his
Sounded
head.
like Grover.
And you're like, how the
Super
fuck?
Grover.
Like, I'm good at things and I don't have that confidence. Like, how did he attain that?
He walks into the room.
I walk
probably
like I
start doing
always
that.
have the song Short People in my head. Show people don't know the reason to live. Like, I just have that bouncy little dumb guy walk.
God, I love Randy Newman so much for none of the right
He
reasons.
is like almost in his 80s. Did you know that?
Is he
Is he
really?
really?
He's like
That
seven,
doesn't
he's like
surprise me. I mean,
77.
I was
Yeah, he looks.
Because he was big in the
decently
70s,
old,
yeah?
I like how he always wears the same shirt, like he's on a sitcom. He always wears
never changes his clothes.
Yeah.
like that dumbass touristy
always
Hawaiian
love-
shirt
Yep.
with the palm trees and the flowers on it.
Yep.
I always loved in cartoons when they go in their closet. It was just,
Oh, and it's just
30
rows
of the
that
same outfit.
shirt.
I think
Yeah.
they did that on Doug once.
I was just saying, I always think of Doug.
Oh, yeah.
His
I think they
stupid
did it on just
sweater
about
vest.
everything.
Randy Newman is like everybody's 5th grade social studies teacher. Like, everybody has had Randy Newman as a teacher. He's like, today we're talking about engines. And then he just pulls out a shitty little Casio keyboard. He's like, we killed them all with smallpox. And you're like, Mr. Newman, this feels weird.
Actually, I had a male 5th grade history teacher who talked with a southern accent, so that was kind of funny that you said that. It sounded just like my teacher.
His names for people are like 50 years old. Today we're going to be talking about the Japs.
Them darkies.
Wow. This podcast has gotten a little racist. Gotten a little racist since us last year. Woo!
It's always racist. Somehow.
Nagasaki. The people's all deformed.
But,
The people's all deformed.
oh my god, talking about Nagasaki.
Nagasaki.
Let me tell you. Speak of the devil.
Good
We possibly
times.
transition from that.
Do you guys know what hash oil is?
Hold on. What?
Sounds like whales.
Hash oil. Have
Hash
you ever
oil.
heard of this?
I have, but I don't know
Is
what
it
it
made
is.
of
like-
bits and pieces of little Japanese people?
Is it like... Whoa, what?
I don't know. We were talking about Nagasaki, and then You know.
Jesus, it's the
Even
fucking...
the etymology wasn't even close.
It's the Fifth Reich in here.
I was just watching a show about
Holy
Hitler.
crap, Erica, where did that come from?
Snake in my ear.
It just whispers racist things in her ear
We're
that
10
she
minutes in,
communicates
we're
to
already
us.
gone.
Kill the Jews.
It's more like,
Black people smell like peanuts.
excuse me? Black people smell like peanuts.
Not now, Snake.
Next shirt. Boom.
But I
Hash oil.
tried it for the first time yesterday.
What is it?
Is it like gift gas?
It's
Is it like the grease you
It's
get
like-
while boiling potatoes?
for me. It was knockout gas because like I'm not really a smoker at all. Like it's not something I super enjoy because I kind of get like paranoid and weird whenever I smoke.
Yeah.
But I was just in a situation where someone's like, I've got this stuff, and the way he described it, he's like, it's like really super good weed. Which, in my mind, now I realize is like calling like
Death
the big
weed.
boy bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima like a really good firecracker. It is such a different animal altogether. I took
know,
one
weed
hit of
was
this
an animal.
stuff,
Oh yeah.
and I was just drinking beer in like someone's backyard. And then I just woke up with a woman cradling my head in her lap, being like, "You're gonna be fine." And I was like, "What? What
Where
happened?"
am I?
And like,
Who am I?
they just started feeding me like stale bread, and I was like, "What is this?" Because I like literally like
you a duck?
I woke up and I had such a restful 3-second sleep that I was like, I was angry that someone was waking me up because I thought I was in my bed.
But when you have extreme cotton mouth trying to eat stale bread.
Yes! And so, like, I just kept, like, I would chew and chew and chew and just get wads of bread in my mouth. And then, like, I'd have to, like, flex it, like, gulp! Like, force it dry down my throat like I was swallowing sandpaper. It was so bad. But the most embarrassing thing that's happened to me that I want to talk about on the show that I think is amusing is that I recently went to the beach and I went to Nashville. At the beach, we did a bunch of party favors and stuff, and we were partying, and I got it in my mind that, like, the bars in Ocean City closed down around 2 or 3, and I was like, no reason for this party to stop, so I just started lying to
Mistake
strangers.
number 1.
I started just telling random people that Bacardi was sponsoring a beach party, and, like, I told them where to show up. Yeah, it was crazy. But, like, the good thing was I was so deliriously destroyed that no one believed me. I was like, Bacardi party, beach!
Bacardi party.
But, like, in my mind, I was like, hundreds of people were showing up, bros. And so I went to my hotel room, and we had, like, Jell-O shots made. So I brought 2
Christ.
trays of Jell-O shots out to the beach in, like, a case. But what I didn't think about is, like, you know what else is on the beach? Seagulls. And so I laid out, like, these trays of Jell-O shots, and the seagulls, like, swarmed down and started eating the Jell-O shots. I was like, buddies, no! And, like, the seagulls started to get, like, real drunk, and, like, they were, like, just, like, waddling around, like, all wasted. I was like, seagull party! And, like, I was just drinking with my new seagull friends. And then the most tragic thing happened where, like, one
They
in
all
particular
die.
had too much. And I was like, Benny, you need to go home. And, like, it started, like, waddling towards the ocean. I was like, better be careful, Benny. And then, like, all of a sudden the tide came in. I was like, Benny! Benny! And, like, the tide fucking took this seagull. Like, it was too drunk to fly away. I was like, Benny, no! And, like, it just, like, took this bird out to sea. And, like, all the other birds saw it happen and freaked out. They're like, ah! Ah! Like, it was, like, a drunk panic situation. And, like, I ran out to, like, try and save it. I was like,
Benny's gone!
I was like, Benny, no! And, like, I'm wading through the water, like, trying to save this bird, and, like, it was just too late.
Oh,
it was
Benny.
too late. And so, like, I came back to the beach. Now, mind you, my friends didn't even see this happen. So now I'm just kneeling like Charlton Heston at the end of Planet of the Apes at the edge of this beach, just pounding the sand with my fist, being like, it shouldn't have been her! Like, just fucking upset. And here's the kicker, is of all the people...
Oh, here's the kicker.
Here's the kicker.
Of all the people I invited to this party, one person showed up, and it was an old Mexican man. And all he sees is me being like, she's never coming back! And so all he thinks is I'm, like, crying, like, about a girlfriend I lost.
Yeah.
And he's like, sometimes it's better this way, man. And, like, he's, like, talking me through my grief. on the beach, like, drinking, like, a fucking beer, like, patting my back, being like, if it's meant to be, she'll be back. And I'm like, she'll never be back!
Betty's gone!
Just having separate conversations while I bemoan the loss of my seagull friend, and he thinks I just broke up with someone, being like, it's okay, man. Like, really
okay.
consoling me about it.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Well, that's a
Show's
fun
over.
night.
Yes.
It's
Good
just
night,
over.
everybody.
How do we top that?
We don't.
How do you top that?
I don't know if I can.
You're not allowed back on this podcast.
Ever.
Now. I mean, it look bad.
Yeah.
You
Now back to our boring, usually scheduled.
tell me.
what happened at work,
Tell me
guys.
that's a new bit of yours.
I haven't worked out it. I don't know how to make it work as a bit, because there's so, like,
There's so much to it.
there's so much to it, and I think it's funnier to people who know me and can see that happening, and I haven't
Right.
filled it in with, like, enough tags and beats yet, because
Okay.
right now it's very much so in the vein of, like, my Shrooms story, where I can get it to get over, especially with, like, a younger crowd, where they're more inclined to listen to storytelling.
Right.
But, like, right now there's enough gaps in that I haven't figured out a way to make it really work on stage, unless I'm just fucking around at, like, a mic or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's such a cartoonish comedy of
Yeah.
errors.
That would make a perfect animation.
You
It's on the
let's
list already.
let's sum
All
up.
right.
Let's sum up for a second. You got a bunch of seagulls drunk.
Yeah.
One of them got into a bad situation.
Yeah.
Benny.
And an old Mexican
Benny and
man
the Gulls.
consoled you through this.
Yeah.
Thinking you were talking about a girlfriend.
Yeah. I like the sincerity of what he was doing just made me feel worse.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that was a fun trip.
Except for that one part.
I keep losing things at sea. Like, I keep losing things at sea. Every time I go to the ocean,
There was
I
a
lose
locket
something.
once.
Seagulls.
The first time I ever
Bread?
went to the beach alone, I was like 16 years old. And, like, we had, like, fake IDs and stuff, and, like, we were buying booze, and it was just me and another friend, and it was New Year's Eve. We'd been drinking all night, and we decided we want to spend the strike of the New Year by the ocean. And we walked out there, and, like, 5 minutes to midnight, we realized, oh, my God, and this is pre-cell phone. Like, for me, I didn't have a cell phone. He didn't have a cell phone. We were like, I don't know how we're going to know when it's midnight. Oh, shit. So we ran back to the boardwalk, and all the shops were closed. We were looking for anything that would have, like, a clock on it.
Yeah.
But there was one shop open, and it was a secondhand store. And the only thing they had was, like, you have a bird clock. It was a horse clock. And every time, like, it hit the hour, it'd be like, and it would neigh the number of hours. And I was like, fine, perfect, whatever. And so we bought it and took it out to the ocean. And, like, these Italian guys who were, like, straight off the boat, like, just were passing our, like, walked past us with a bottle of wine. Like, hey, buddies, want to drink? And we're like, yeah. We started drinking with these guys. And again, just kind of like the seagull story, the fucking tide came in and took our horse clock. And so, like we spooked
Fucking
the
horse
Italians because they just heard a ghost horse at midnight. Like, we're just drinking, like, solo cup wine together, and all of a sudden we hear, and they're like, what the hell is that? And we just look out, and our fucking horse clock's being, like, swept away. And we're like, don't you guys worry about it. They're like, America, the land of haunted horses.
Wow.
And I had to take a screen cap from your page once when you were in Philadelphia, and you posted that sign about dating a duchess after she just broke up with her boyfriend. Sophisticated seconds.
Yeah.
I lost it when you posted that.
I responded with something. I don't remember what it was.
I think I just liked it
Something with
because I
19s
couldn't
in
respond
there.
with anything.
Like 99% of the things I see on Facebook, I go, scroll.
That's about it for me.
Yeah.
Except that
Know
I died.
that I appreciate most things people say on Facebook. Also know I'm not going to bother to like it or
No,
comment.
Lennon never likes it. You
No,
are
I
an
really
awful
don't.
social
You
media.
never
If
like,
if
never
if I like
comment.
something, I really enjoyed it. Like the last thing I liked was something that Rolls posted yesterday about the county clerk in
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Is where it is.
Uh-huh.
And it was and it was sorry, we're not giving out any marriage licenses. I already used
took
them all.
Yeah, I already used them all.
Yeah, I
That was
don't. I
clever.
don't like things on Facebook either.
No,
Yeah.
I get
I'm
sick of
very
it.
stingy.
However,
Yeah.
I found out something that
I
actually
treat it like it's a currency.
I made $25 on Facebook the other day.
Oh my god.
Starkist Tuna is being sued.
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah.
They're being sued because they
class
underpacked
action
their
lawsuit.
cans So if you don't
I
even
have
have to
that
prove
problem
that you
so
have
many
bought
times.
tuna from
Yeah,
them.
you just go on their website and say, "Yeah, I bought Starkist
I bought
tuna
this
in the
tuna,
last
I
5
bought
years."
this one, and you can get either $50 of tuna, or you can get
But really, it's about $40 worth.
yeah, right. Or
Yeah.
you can get a check for $25, and all you have to say is, "I bought this one and this one. I bought a couple of those." And then in December when it ends, they'll send you $25 or $50 worth of tuna. A $50 voucher for tuna.
This is the best way to stick it to the tuna companies.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Facebook is useless.
Aren't tuna becoming extinct? Or
Well,
they're getting
Probably.
endangered?
Everything's becoming
Fish are
extinct.
becoming gross.
I mean, Facebook's just become like MySpace for me, where I use it purely for marketing.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you know, because when you're a comedian, you have to kind of like do the icky business side of things.
Hey,
Sometimes
I'll
where
be
you get,
here.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be here, like to kind of make
And I'm
like,
going to tell you tomorrow,
and
too.
it, you know,
Yeah.
it makes me nauseous because I hate doing it, but like you have to kind of cultivate a brand and shit like that.
I mean, that's sort of this
Yeah.
podcast too. What are you doing? No,
Yeah, but
no,
I don't think we do it as well as we could.
Well, I don't know how best to do that. Really.
Well, it works that every time we post something that it's put onto the Facebook page,
Yep.
and every time you do a short, it's posted. And
Yep.
with the shirts, you posted a thing on that.
The only thing I've been enjoying lately is the Clerk in Kentucky stories.
Yeah.
Because I posted something about it the other day, and my aunt commented on it. My extremely
Oh, yeah, I saw
conservative
that.
aunt,
I
and
saw
I
that.
watched my friends destroy her. And I just sat back, ate a bowl of popcorn, because I just loved watching
This
her
gonna be
make.
good.
I just love watching her make no sense. Because at one point she's like, "Well, Muslims had slaves. What's that have to do with
Great.
that?"
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
And now
That's
the government can tell us what to do and how to do it, and they control our lives. No, she just broke the law.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
yeah, that's called laws.
She was in contempt of court, and she
Making
said,
it
"I'm
sound
not
like-
going to do this."
She's
Yeah.
making it sound like it's that new Amazon Prime show where what if the Nazis won? Did you hear about that? I just
No.
saw an ad for it
No.
today. It's,
No, I haven't heard about that.
It's just a show about what would happen if the Nazis won World War II, and
The end.
This is America in like Nazi America.
That's
America.
interesting. That's America.
Like, you know, like, we're
No
the
haunted horse
Nazis who
clocks
won,
anywhere.
right? Like, we are the Nazis who won. Like, whoever wins is the good guy.
Yeah.
The winner
Yeah.
is the protagonist of history.
That's
Yep.
how it
Like, the
goes.
losers are always evil. Isn't that crazy, gang? Isn't that weird?
What?
That whoever ends up losing the war was evil all along.
Yeah, and
Who
then-
would have guessed it?
and then when we were in Vietnam and we lost that, they're like, "Well, they cheated.
They cheated. They cheated over
We didn't
there.
want to be in that anyway."
Damn
So
guerrilla
what? We were all
warfare.
third graders for a day.
Well, yeah.
Well, most of America is now,
That'll
Quite a
wake the
statement.
people up.
Like,
right?
Sheeple.
Shapo.
Talking about Facebook, I don't know if you saw my post yesterday, but it's something I can't do on stage because it's so fucking hacky.
Okay.
But I swear to God, the story's true. Is I was talking to someone online and I forgot the word masochist. So I Googled on my work computer,
Oh.
what do you call someone who likes to feel pain?
And
Yeah.
then your computer
And-
was swept out to sea.
No.
Never found
See
out.
now! But then my boss was on my computer and she typed in what on Google and it came up. And like there was this super awkward moment
It'll autocomplete.
Right?
where like everybody like I guess she just assumed that I like pain, which I guess is true to an extent.
Everyone
but,
likes
like,
pain.
I don't know.
Well-
like I
You can say it doesn't mean you admit it.
no like
Let's do some serious psychotherapy here.
like have you ever seen like
Explain.
Californication?
No.
Like I think I would like.
Well,
to
I
get,
saw a little bit.
I think like I would get a jolt out of it if someone punched me in sex. Like I think like
No.
not like I wouldn't want to be whipped, but like if I was close to coming and like I just got a quick jab to the jaw, like I think I'd be like woo! Like I think I'd be kind of on board.
That's like someone wanting to crawl into their girlfriend's
No,
room.
No, that's
it
not
is so
close.
different.
No, yeah,
because
no.
like let me take it down a notch then. Like, do you ever kind of get off like
No.
flossing too hard?
No.
Is that weird?
Not when... No.
Like pushing the little thing
No.
like too deep into your gum, like like am I the
No.
only one? Now I've been learning
Maybe
a lot
cleaning
of.
your ears.
You know what that? You know, I almost know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know how familiar you are with this. It's probably
With
been a
cleaning
while.
your teeth.
But like when a molar's growing in, and you have
Never
to
had
bite,
that
and you have
happen.
to like,
Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking wisdom teeth. I was just kidding.
well, wisdom teeth
Mo-
works too. You
yeah.
bite on something, you're like, that feels better. as it's growing in?
No, I can't remember when I grew my molars.
Pain as a release of pressure, I think, is where I get off.
Okay.
Like, and here's the thing: is like I'm 27 now, so like I joke about not having fetishes on stage, but like I don't think that's true anymore. Because like if I'm honest with myself, I think I could come if I flossed real hard and watched a woman mow the lawn. I think
What
I
if
could make.
she was flossing as she mowed the lawn?
That's a winning
That,
combination.
no, I just
You
need
have
feel
to be
it. Like if a
flossing.
woman in shorts was using a push mower and she let me floss while watching her do it, like I could at least get hard. Like that's specific enough where I'm like I could get down with that. Like that would make me happy.
All right.
Okay.
Like I don't know. Like does anybody have anything weird like that? Like every now and then I just see something I'm like, really, Dick? This? And it's just it's just how my mind works now.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have a fetish? Like anything odd that you're just like, I find that oddly attractive or sexual.
No, I can't say that I have.
I'm just trying to think.
Or if there is, I haven't paid enough attention to it.
I think I'm on that also.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, though. Well, we're waiting.
I'm thinking!
Wow, she is racking her mind.
Or like girls who have legs that are pale enough to see their veins. Oh, that's so fucking hot. Like I know, like you know what I mean.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
Like you ever see just like
I don't
a
think
cute
that
ass
deep.
goth girl who has like one blue leg, like vein running down her leg? Like I would suck that vein out of her skin. I don't give a fuck. That's so hot. Like
Yeah, I can understand that.
like there's just little things like that where I'm like, ooh, like
I
I
think
just
Okay.
I think I have an eyebrow thing.
Yeah?
Like people just cocking their eyebrow.
like this.
Yeah, so it depends.
Like-
Yeah.
So what, you get turned on by curious people?
Oh, really?
You're trying to confuse people all the time? I love people who are confused. That's so hot. Erica, what are you doing? Oh.
I mean, I really like. This is as weird, but I like blue nail polish. That's pretty cool.
Girls that paint their toes weird colors turn me on so much.
I mean, that's
I don't
alright.
paint my
Nothing,
toes.
blue.
I'm
But
sorry.
like I think there's nothing hotter than like a trashy girl with like orange toenails.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it makes me want to punch through a wall. I just go from 0 to 60 so
With
quick.
my dick.
I also have a thing for hands.
What kind of thing?
I feel like that's more normal though.
Probably.
I don't know how I would, like girls with like real long thin fingers.
Nah, I don't like that.
I don't know how to explain it. I don't know.
Well, no, I totally get that. Like, I get that.
Like certain ways people hold their hands in too. Like
I love to be scratched, but I've realized
me too.
I also scratch a lot, even without being asked to. Like, it's just kind of like a primal response. Like, when I'm super happy, I'm just like, yeah! And then they're like, Jesus Christ! Did you just hit me with a rake? sorry. It's just kind of where
No,
my
I
mind
do
goes.
that. I do that. Help!
What was that? Hell!
His scale dug into my finger, and now I'm bleeding.
Oh.
And you're like, that's hot.
He's got
Oh, that's hot.
Huh?
He cut you?
With his scale, yeah, it dug into my finger, and now my pinky bleeding.
Oh.
Shit just got real on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Shit got
That's
real.
intense.
My snake just tried to kill me slowly.
Your snake's into that.
He is.
We were talking about fetishes. He's like, I'd like her to die. That would really get me off.
That's my fetish, yeah.
He likes choking me.
Choking. There you go.
No, he
That's
doesn't.
a snake's fetish, choking.
Speaking of reptiles, I think since the last time I was on here, I got a dragon tattoo.
Yeah,
I was
you
gonna
did.
say, since when do you have a tattoo?
Most
I was
people
going to
just
say something about it.
Most people
honestly.
just assume it's a Jewish dragon, which is just my burden to carry now because no one apparently watches Full Metal Alchemist but me.
No.
I read the manga.
You still know the sign of the homunculus, then?
Yeah, I know that.
You're not a homunculus.
I don't feel like a person, but that's not
You're
funny
not
for
a
a podcast.
homunculus.
Whoa, we just got a little real there.
No. Like I'm very enamored with alienation. Like I feel like I'm not supposed to be part of this planet. So like the idea of trying to fit in when you feel inorganic
Isn't everything aliens according to the guy that's slowly being abducted?
I don't want to be on his ship.
No.
What about the Church of Gale? You want to be on that ship?
Oh, no. There's too much Jesus in there. Sexualized Jesus.
Yeah, there
Jesus?
is. Yeah. This is the Church of Gale is a thing from a podcast that I listen to called The Drunken Peasants, where it's an atheist podcast, and they watch
It's
videos.
not as forcefully atheist.
It's
though.
not forced. No. But that's their. If you said what is your podcast about, that's probably what they would answer.
Aliens.
They basically just get high for 2.5 hours, and they show videos of crazy motherfuckers on YouTube. And there's a lady named Gail, who thinks that she is the highest religious authority next to Jesus, who she Skypes with constantly.
Even higher
And
than
has
the
a
head of
thing
the
for
Church
him.
of Scientology?
So she's like Jesus' comptroller.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
but
yeah.
what about the head
And,
of the
she-
Church of Scientology? What's that alien again?
Xenu.
Xenu, yeah.
L. Ron
Higher
Hubbard.
than Xenu?
He's the alien.
Oh, listen, Gail is.
She is Xenu.
Gail is something
her own category,
way
yes.
out there. She believes that heaven is a spaceship called the Church of Gail that is out in space, and she is the leader of that spaceship, and it's manned by. Help me out here, Casey, because you know these people also because
Okay.
you've listened to this. There's Hugh Jackman,
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey.
That's
Sure.
awesome.
Robin Williams, who was until he died. Until he
Yeah,
died,
he's there
Robin
now.
Williams was there. Vladimir Putin.
So heaven's not a place you die and go to; it picks you up.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't
It just
know.
stops
It's
off
like
in your...
Enterprise.
I
But,
love
yeah.
the idea that Gail thinks being God is basically just being Batman, where she's like to the Gale mobile, like, and that's her idea of heaven.
Oh yeah. But she's
And now Batgirl's on the
She's-
on the spacecraft.
yeah.
So Batgirl, Yvonne Craig died.
She's very clearly one of the most neurotic people, not getting help
Yeah.
in America.
She really.
Those are the
wants to
kind
have
of
sex
people
with
that you
Jesus.
just let
She
them,
does.
be happy.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
there's
she thinks most people are Jesuits and try. Oh, her number one person is Brett Spiner, who played
Data.
Data on
Star Trek.
Yeah.
I met him.
The actual Brett Spiner is, I think,
Not the pretend
is he
one.
in hiding? Is that what it is? But
I
he
don't
still
know.
talks with her telepathically, and the actual Brett Spiner is a Jesuit clone, and Laurie McBride, his
you're
his
telling me
wife, is like really in on it, and she's the one who is like the leader of the evil Jesuit plot.
So you're telling me I fist bumped a clone?
Yeah.
Gross.
Oh yeah.
And I have a
realized-
clone's autograph?
My favorite thing about this whole thing is like they'll on the podcast they'll go, and here's Gail, and they'll fire it up, and everybody goes, everyone just straps the fuck in.
That
and my
sex
favorite
novel was
one,
my favorite thing ever.
oh yeah, she's
I
written like 3 historical novels
What?
about her
They are
tales.
Why are crazy people always more ambitious than me?
I know.
I have normal thoughts and I can't write a novel.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
crazy though, all of a sudden you're just prolific.
One of them is is labeled on Audible as a children's book.
Oh, yeah, they're on Audible, too.
And the story, the segment that they showed on the podcast was a story of Laurie McBride used her Jesuit mind magic to make Brett Spiner fuck that cat that was on the show with his 18.5-inch long dick.
Because he has one of those.
Yeah, 'cause he's got one of those.
I never asked him.
And
To
it's-
go back to
yeah.
Erica's point, I think
Oh, Erica's point.
like she just said this in passing, but I think one of the most valuable ideas that someone ever gave me was you can't reason someone out of something they didn't reason
Oh,
themselves
yeah.
into.
Yeah.
Like it's so you might as well just enjoy their craziness.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing you're going to get from it.
Exactly.
That's a lot of what
No amount
people,
of
the drunken peasants do anyway.
no amount
Yeah.
of therapy
Yeah.
would ever cure
They
it.
just look, listen, and laugh.
Now,
Yep.
I found something. I purposely pulled it up on my phone here,
Uh-huh.
and I want to write comedy about this until I die. I haven't started yet, but it made me so happy. Like, and I don't know if it's a crazy person who did this or just someone who's awful at technology or what.
Ugh.
But they have on Facebook, you occasionally get like ads and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can fucking reply to them. Like you can
Yeah.
start a comment thread on ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of them was New York Times. They had an ad for subscribing to the New York Times online.
Okay.
And I was looking at the comments for that, and I wrote this down. It's the first comment I saw was like, we're liberals. The second comment was like, we're conservatives. The third fucking comment on this advertisement for New York Times subscription was, Richard, are you here at camp? What? Who did this? Who did this?
Richard?
What? I want to know what went into them being
and was Richard there?
No, he wasn't.
We get no conclusion.
Why? Like, I need someone to help me think of the steps that would lead someone to do this. Richard, are you here at camp? It was like a question mark, exclamation mark. It was like immediate need. They had to get a hold of Richard, and they sent it to the fucking New York Times subscription advertisement. What? Like, it was either someone just brutally insane, but still functional enough to get online and reply to a Facebook ad. Yeah. How bad do you have to be to technology, conversely, to think that Richard's going to get that message somehow?
What if he saw it?
Maybe he did.
What if Richard is head of advertisement at the New York Times?
I want to go back and find out if Richard made it to camp. Like, I want to follow through on this because, like, it has to. Like, what kind of camp could it be?
Tell me it had like 200 likes.
No, it was disregarded because everybody was in their pissy little fights about like conservative liberal stuff, and just in an ocean of political bullshit, one brave psychopath, one insane man is desperate to know where Richard is and if he's coming to camp. Like, it's just such a fucking non sequitur that I wake up thinking about it now.
Such a simple question paints such a perfect picture.
Yeah. And, like, if you're looking for immediacy, why go to Facebook? Like, do you not have Richard's number? Like, I don't know. I've just been thinking the ins and outs of it for a while now, and it's just keeping me awake.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever, like, I don't know, like, beautiful little things like that. Like, one of my favorite definitions of art is finding variation in the normative. Mm-hmm. Like, finding what is unusual about the normal. And, like, just to see...
Richard,
such a ubiquitously toned conversation have that kind of curveball thrown into it.
Oh yeah.
I was like in the fucking, like, a museum. Like, I wanted to just look at it and, like, frame it on a wall somewhere. It was just beautiful to me. Like that kind of throwing it off. And, like, I think comedy's steering into a direction where, and Kyle Works was talking to me about this the other day, like, comedy, when it's done well, is a little bit like magic, where you're saying, like, here's what your expectation is, and I'm giving you an alternative to the expectation. Mm-hmm. And, like, anything like that, I become quickly enamored with.
Can I tell you one of my favorite jokes that I've heard recently? It was from a video that we've talked about a couple times on the podcast. The video is entitled, My Dad Made Me a Clown, the Mike Valek documentary.
Oh, God.
My favorite thing about that documentary is when Valek is talking about comedy and how it's like one of the last...
And then he goes right to the fart joke! And then he goes right to the fart joke.
It's so great. It's for people who don't know, here's how it goes. It goes,
please tell me. I didn't watch it.
The thing that's great about comedy is that it's like the last...
The last bastion of free speech.
It's the last bastion of free speech. And I feel like it's, like, really nice to be on stage and kind of say what you feel and, you know, not necessarily be taken seriously that it's offensive to people. And then it's a jump cut to...
No.
Fart face.
Let's not undersell that... Okay, so it's called, like, My Dad is a Clown. They spend maybe 2 minutes talking about how his dad is a clown.
Yeah.
Just a quick off-branch. No one addresses the little hand. No one addresses the little hand. His dad's got a little hand. His dad's got a little arm, little hand.
I'm glad you told me who has a little hand.
Not touched on at all. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having a little arm, little hand.
Of course.
You gotta bring it up. You gotta bring it up. If your dad's a clown talking about Jesus and the Illuminati, just give me one line, be like, yeah, I got a little hand, and then just move on. But if you don't talk about the little hand, it's all I'm gonna look at. And the end of the video ends with him in a little purple pig just being like, you're like America, because America got too greedy. Credits. Like, it is... you couldn't have made crazier sentences if you just pulled verbs and nouns at random out of a thesaurus.
I really want...
It's amazing.
Someday...
It's an amazing video.
We need to seriously psychoanalyze this man. And
that documentary made
so
much
sense.
I want to know what jokes he told when he did stand up at the hospital.
Oh, the hospital,
minutes. I saw that and I'm like,
Those poor kids.
They all died.
That's what I said. But what jokes could he possibly tell in a hospital that wouldn't be, I fell on my face and I can't, how'd that go? I can't feel my face.
No, I stepped on my own face.
I stepped on my own face.
No, the one was I can't feel my face.
No, he said I stepped on my own face when he tripped in the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was another one where he said I can't feel my face.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Because I missed it.
There has never, in the history of anything, been a more interestingly insane person.
No.
Nope.
He's eminently watchable. He is so watchable. There are comics that are good that I would walk out of the room to have a smoke break on. I will never miss anything he does because
Me either.
he
never
is
know what it's gonna
so engagingly insane. I was kind of being like a little bitch earlier and be like, oh, I don't feel like I belong. He's an alien. He is a fucking alien. Did you guys see the video for Don't Puke on Me?
Yeah, I did.
There is a moment in there that transcends my most personal religious moment, and I think you probably know what it is.
I think I do.
First off, there's so much good about it, but let's focus on the most important moment of my life. Is he's playing the song, and then it's like an 80s video. Yeah. All of a sudden, there's just a scene out of nowhere where it's a close up of him playing keyboard, and the camera pulls back real quick. He's in the middle of a field. He's in the middle of a cornfield, and it's like an old Genesis video of him just remember in
it's like Randy Newman out there.
Remember in November Rain when Slash is playing outside of the wedding? That's exactly what it is. It's like this weird purple gray filter, and it pulls back on him just wailing on this fucking Casio, and I'm like, you magical insane man.
It's so badly lip synced, and yet
is it?
It is.
That's too bad.
And I confronted him about this, and I immediately knew it was true. Is he drafted this poor woman who didn't know what she's getting into to be in the video. And he dressed her up like a clown. But halfway through the video,
was that his profile picture for a while?
Yeah, because he basically fake girlfriended her, and she was like, "Please don't." And
I thought it was Liz the first time he put it up. I'm like,
he
that's not
originally drafted Liz to do it, and she was like, "Oh no, no." But some parts of the video, she's just replaced with a blow-up doll. And it's obvious that those were just the scenes she refused to do.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I need to watch this now.
It is a trip.
Oh.
I don't understand, what's his sudden obsession with clowns? Did that just happen?
He is a clown.
That's just, snapping and happened? Or was it just hiding deep?
I thought a lot more.
Hiding deep within.
I thought a lot more made sense about Valak after I watched that documentary, to be honest with you. That's where he gets his craziness from.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's just... And the bummer is, the guy who shoots those videos and edits them...
Is that the guy that used to film his stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's the school bus guy.
He's a brilliant producer.
He does a good job.
But he is violently homophobic. So, I ended up having to unfollow him on Facebook, because it was a bummer, because, I try to be friends with people who would disagree with me on stuff.
Yeah.
But, he had this one status that was only when the chars of the last burnt building have blown away, and all that remains are skulls, will we say, maybe this was because of the homos. And I was like, wow. You are just, that's violently insane.
Yeah.
That man should have died about 50 years ago.
Yeah. Is he gonna live that long?
Associate with someone who is that wrong about something.
Yeah.
I can't associate with someone who's that wrong about something, which is a bummer, because we did a video together, and he was nothing but sweet to me.
Yeah.
But, when we diverged
and then you're
greatly...
I'm actually gay. And he's like, no!
Gun on you, probably.
Suddenly you're replaced by Liz Curtis and a blow-up doll.
I think under the right circumstances I could be gay. I don't think it would be that big of a deal. I think that in 2015 you've got to acknowledge, sexuality is so fucking fluid.
Everyone's gay.
I would fuck Matthew McConaughey so hard. In just a second, if he's all right, he wouldn't get to the third all right before I had his dick in my mouth. He'd be like, all right, ooh. I just would be immediately on it. I'm gay enough where, and tell me if this is gay, if someone was I fucked Scarlett Johansson 5 minutes ago. I would smell his dick. Just to be I kind of want to know. If he offered it, if he's do you want to, I'd be like, yeah. I would not have a problem with that. I've had a buddy who was too drunk to piss, so I pulled his dick out for him. Gay or not gay.
That's a good friend.
That's a good friend, right? Because it was that or the pants.
Because he didn't pee in his pants.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've never had a problem with gay stuff. Part of me wishes
gay
that
stuff.
part of me wishes I could get a boner for dudes, because that would really open up my options.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just have to You just have to work at it.
Yep.
I don't know if I can though. I think it's just either something you feel or you
Just
don't.
do some conditioning.
Like I've not like made out with dudes, but like I've been propositioned. Like I've kissed a man on the mouth, and like it just doesn't work downstairs for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if it did, like I would totally go for it. But...
Yeah.
I don't know why, but when you said that, I was like, aw.
Yeah, it's kind of about right. Like
I'm rooting for him now.
I've disappointed a lot of gay men who are so obviously gay. I'm like, I'm sorry, I know what it looks like. I'm just in the club doing the fucking nay-nay, and they're just like, I'm gonna get it tonight, and I just disappoint them because I'll take a free drink. I don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, anyone would take a free drink.
Like recently on Facebook, I had some photos shared where I just had a weekend where I wore a lot of dresses. And,
I remember that barbecue.
Oh yeah,
and like my family freaked the fuck out about it.
Oh, I bet they did.
And like they were all super passive aggressive about it. So everybody just messaged like my mom, and so like for 2 weeks, like she just got bombarded with texts being like, "Should we do something?" Like people like were really like weirdly like, and like people come up to you like you should be embarrassed, and it's always an awkward conversation when you're not, where they're like, lose a dare, like, no, it was comfy. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm honestly, if you've never worn a sundress, do it. It's the most comfy fucking thing in the world.
Oh, it's lovely.
Like, I will wear a dress at the drop of a hat, like, not for the sake of comedy, but for the sake of, like, it is so goddamn comfy.
I hate dresses, but sometimes I'd prefer it over jeans.
If I was a woman, I would wear dresses all the time. Like, why don't you? Why don't you wear dresses all the time? It's such a comfortable alternative.
I don't know.
Like,
let's dive into this a little.
Like,
why don't you wear more dresses?
I only really wear them to work. I've just
I
not
don't
really
think
been a dress
Erica's that type of person, though.
I'm
You're
not a girly girl, but
wearing
whenever
type.
I get the option to wear a dress, it is far more comfortable than being in jeans. Far more comfortable. But I just don't feel like
you should expand on that.
I just don't feel like dressing up all the time.
Well, it's
even though if you think about it, putting on a dress is less work than putting on a shirt and pants.
Right.
So
it's
you're
like
bisexual. Like, have you been getting it lately?
No.
No?
Not in almost 2 years.
Oh, why?
Not since Womb Lover left
Wolf
me.
Blitzer.
Wolf Blitzer.
I like that better.
Why not, though?
I just never did.
No. Womb Blitzer.
He blitzes them real good.
I accidentally, like,
I hope he is now and scaring off even more women.
Like, I'm always, and like this is a shitty part of my brain, but I'm always impressed by guys who don't need sex. Like people who like, if like a woman comes up to a guy and she's like, that was so good, and they're like, whatever. Like I'm like, that dude's the best. Like
just puts her hand in his
like I
face.
almost
just
like
them.
it is such a rare occasion for me to turn down sex, but like.
My ex humped pillows in his office and wouldn't let me come in the room if he was doing that. I would accidentally come in, he was like, get out! Get out!
But I had a moment the other day where I accidentally big dicked a girl and it felt amazing. I had just done a show and this girl comes out after the show and she's like, oh my god, that was like so funny. Like, we should do drinks. And I was like, yeah, cool. And she's like, let me give you my number. And I was like, all right. And I opened my phone. And, like, she's like, my name's Stephanie, or whatever fucking shitty. Everybody who talks like that's just a Stephanie to me.
Yeah, that is a Stephanie.
And I put her phone, or her name in my phone.
Put her phone in my number.
I put her phone in my phone. And... But, like, I wasn't thinking, and as soon as I was done with her number, I just deleted it. Like, I wanted to save it, but I was like, boop, and she saw me do it, and she was like, oh, God. She thought, like, because, like, I was kind of being distracted with other people talking to me anyway, so she thought I just purposely went through the motions of put her number in my phone, then be like, boop, that's what I think of you. And then I just, like, walked away, and she, like, was crushed.
Poor
and I could
Stephanie.
see by her body, like, language, she just, like, slurched over. And I was like... Win one for the ugly guy, like, because like I've been a guy who like I like,
and I've been a girl.
I like my whole life like I've never been super like I've been successful in being able to pursue women, but being a comic has allowed me for the first time an opportunity to be pursued by women.
Yeah.
And so like just this whole new game has been like such a fun experience of just being like I can just sit back and let it happen. You know what I mean? Like, little experiences like that are so fucking fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where to go from that. Really.
Oh, I don't know. I was just kind of talking out loud.
You know what? I'll tell you where to go from that.
Okay.
I was chatting a little bit before we started about possibly one of the dumbest people I've ever fucking met in my life. And for some reason, I seem to have magnetism to these people. Mm-hmm. Like, for whatever reason it is, I guess I'm just really nice to a lot of people.
I
It's
am
also
too.
retail.
I'm nice to everyone, no matter how dumb
And
they
then
are.
the stupid clingy ones are like, "Oh, he's my best friend now, and we're going to talk
Is this
forever."
about your work friend?
It is,
Ah.
yeah. It's somebody at work who just stops in just about every day now to chat.
Oh,
And
I thought you meant she worked with you. Whenever you...
No, she works. She works in the hotel. She's on the
Okay,
complete
I thought you
opposite
meant
side.
I thought you meant
makes
she
it a
worked
point
in the concession
to
stand.
wander over this way to talk to
Ah.
me. She is clearly not the brightest person.
Clearly.
She's afraid of birds.
She like Andy.
Not in the sense she's not in the sense like, oh, I saw like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds and it terrified me, but she's like, I think birds are always conspiring against me.
Well, crows maybe.
It's for her. It's just all birds. It's just all birds.
All birds.
And she told me the time
Sparrows,
that
yes.
She told-
Ostriches, absolutely.
absolutely.
Penguins getting guns.
She told me one time she walked outside and there were like 4 robins on the other side of the parking lot, and she like called her boyfriend to comfort her as she walked like halfway across the parking lot to get to her car. It was
Yeah,
that was the first moment where I realized you're going to talk to me for a long time, aren't you?
Oy.
And
I wouldn't call that stupid though. I'd call that like a serious problem.
that's an issue.
I don't.
That's a
I don't
therapy.
think-
That's a therapy
I don't
issue where
think-
she just needs to be put in a room
I
with
know this
birds.
is sort of deviating from the topic, but I don't think fears have to do with stupidity.
My fears aren't.
I feel like it's ignorance, possibly.
No.
Well-
I think fear comes from the same part of your brain that creates depression, where you don't need reason for that to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like my fear that is what some people would think is completely irrational.
I don't know about this.
Next time you have the chance to go search, it's
Oh, I know what it is.
trypophonia. If you look it up, you'll see why.
Isn't it like a fear of things with a bunch of holes?
Irregular holes.
Oh, okay.
I love the way you stuttered to. Oh God, I can't.
But
even
it's
mention
not like I don't mind beehives. Like it's
because
patterns.
they're not irregular.
Well, no, but that's considered one of the things that
Swiss
people
cheese?
with that are afraid of. I don't mind Swiss cheese.
Okay.
Close
Look
up
it,
sponges.
look it up.
Oh,
Sponges, I don't mind either.
Have you ever seen? I think there's a Salvador Dali painting that has stuff like that.
I don't know, but have you ever seen the videos on Facebook where it's... I don't know if it's virus videos. I've never clicked on them, but they look like it'd be a virus if you clicked on it. But it's these videos with people that have these holes superimposed over their skin.
Oh, like a 3D tattoo sort of thing, or just?
No, it looked like I don't know what this. There's a seed pod.
We'll get back to your thing in a second.
There's
There's
There's a seed pod that's like as big as
So-
your hand. Those and they.
What about an empty pomegranate? Like, well, without
That might bother me. I've never seen one without all the seeds in it.
Okay, well.
But if you look up that word, trypophonia, you'll see the things I'm afraid of.
Are you sure it's not trypophobia? Or...
I'm pretty sure it's phonia. Maybe it's phobia, but it's trypo. And
It would make sense as phobia because phobia
thought it
is
was-
fear of.
Yeah, I know. But I thought I'd seen
Fear
it
of
as...
tripos.
Yeah, but once you look it up, like I can't even look at it. I seriously start having a fucking
these
attack.
These are the images I was thinking of. Stuff like that.
What is that?
Help!
Oh,
Is it
God damn it.
Is it trypophonia or phobia?
Phobia.
It's okay. I don't know
What
why
the
it was
fuck is
phobia.
that?
I don't know.
It's
I'm just gonna
fucking.
get
It's
away from
fucking.
that.
It's this goddamn seed pod that
get
is
away-
superimposed on
There was
people's
some-
skin, and you got it.
Oh, God, that's so fucking disgusting.
I know, and I
Yeah.
get so freaked out. I used to see them on Facebook and have a panic attack all
God
night.
damn it. Like, just seeing that made me really nauseous.
You don't really. Oh,
Yeah, it's...
and I started to realize it when I was in high school, because when I was in art class, a friend of mine, she was using a book of frogs to draw from, and I just happened to look at it was dead frogs.
Sequel to
Science
a Game
frog.
of Thrones.
And she was drawing from a page, and it was a frog having eggs out its back. And
Oh,
I was,
yeah, and how-
I was a
yeah.
fucking nervous wreck the rest of the day, because all I could picture was
Right, yeah.
the eggs. And then whenever one day I said, I'm going to beat this trypophobia and I'm going to get over it. So I looked at that search result for like 5 minutes. The rest of the day I pictured my parents running up to me with holes covering their body. I went, no!
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man. Like, that's... Ugh.
But yeah, it's terrifying.
I actually recently just got over a fear of mine.
Really?
Because, like, I'm so dirty.
That's not bad.
My... like,
In which way?
Every way.
Oh.
No, like I used to have, and I still do to an extent, a fear of like spiders. Like I hate spiders.
Oh.
But then recently, like new types of bugs have been getting into my house.
Oh.
And like they're biting me and shit. Like you can see, like I have like a mark here and stuff.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, my once enemy is now my ally. Where I allow
Because they
them.
eat your bugs.
Yeah,
Yes.
bro.
Like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They've been eating them shits. So now I just
Them
let them.
shits is spiders.
I just let those spiders hang out. And it's like how you're afraid of a gang until you learn how shitty cops are. And you're just like, you and me,
wait,
brother.
they're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just
That's
just,
like all the
you and me are just trying to make it in the world, Jose.
That's like all the people during the...
It's okay, man.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
I have. It's
Thanks,
not,
Ricky.
It's
She'll
not
come
as
back.
crippling as
She'll be
that.
back, man.
It's not as crippling
Yeah,
as
Mike.
that.
Yeah.
But I have an erect. It's not even.
You say I have an erection.
Well, that's why this laptop is on my lap right now.
Ah.
You can't see.
You know,
it.
that can make you, what's
Sterile.
it called? Yeah.
Can I play with this thing? Is he gonna freak out if I?
No.
I think the Dark Side of the Moon is the creepiest thing.
Really?
I don't know why.
Like
'Cause
the
it's
album
unknown.
or the
no,
actual
no.
place?
The,
Well,
actual,
see-
the other,
Fucking
the
Pink
other,
Floyd, man.
Yeah,
And
the Other
that's-
Side of the Moon is terrifying.
That's why it's believed
I don't
that
know why.
people like me have that fear of the irregular holes, because
By the way,
especially
this
if
is-
it's...
No. It's a pomegranate. It's pomegranate.
Hell!
That really? Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
But it's like that fear, especially if it's one of those seed pods on people. You see the holes, but there's
saying help, and it's funny. I'm sorry.
with the holes, there's darkness in there, so it's like, what's in there? That's why you're afraid of the dark side of the moon, because it's unknown.
Yeah, but I didn't find those pictures particularly.
Yeah, I
terrifying.
can't do that.
You're so fidgety now.
I used to.
I'm
Also,
telling you, just thinking about it freaks me out.
I also used to.
And then
be-
touching it, like,
Just wait.
help!
You done? Mm-hmm. Okay. We're moving on from that. Your time is done. I used to have a fear of Weimaraners.
Of what?
Weimaraners.
What's that?
The dogs that
That's
are
the
like
dog.
they're kind of thin and floppy and they're brown.
Those thin, floppy
Matt
dogs.
just got a Weimaraner.
Oh yeah,
And
they're fine now.
Was it from? Did it originate from Sesame
It's
Street?
Sesame Street
Yeah.
where they had the
Where
hands.
they had like the
They dressed
where
the-
they put the dog through like the
sleeve.
Yeah.
And they were the
suit,
people
And
dogs,
they had
yeah.
the people. They had the
Yeah.
The
The
dogs
fans
were
through it.
people, and they did everyday people stuff, but it was a
Specifically
fucking dog just
Weimaraners.
looking
Yeah.
around like,
I
huh.
had nightmares about those all the time.
Wow.
All the time.
That's weird.
I conquered one of my fears, too.
Yeah.
When I was in 8th grade, we went to the beach, and I was boogie boarding, and I caught a wave weird, so when I came in on land, it dug into me right here, literally took the wind out of me. So I was terrified to almost go in the ocean. So for about 10 years, I had dreams where these tidal waves, several stories high,
Oh yeah.
were just everywhere. Like, they even came here, and I'm like, So then I said, I'm going to conquer my goddamn fear. So when we went to the beach about 10 years later, went boogie boarding again, I didn't get hurt, I didn't get impaled. I've only had maybe 2 wave dreams since then.
Okay. Well, there you go.
But I used to have them literally all the time. Now it's just tornado
There's
dreams.
probably an easy fix to the rational fear that I still have,
Birds.
and that it's very
Lambs.
very specific.
Lambs.
I'm afraid of seeing my own blood
There you can say shadow.
if it's like a cut that I can see.
You know, I didn't think that I was.
I'm not worried by that.
If I see
Same-
my own
same
blood,
thing?
it's fine. But if I see an actual injury, that's
Oh, see, I love that.
I do too.
I love that.
I
Okay.
really love being injured. Like,
I do too.
if I could,
That sounds
I would.
terrible.
And not like I like to listen to My
cut
Chemical
myself to
Romance.
feel.
Like
I cut
like,
myself to
If
feel.
it was acceptable, I would end every argument with just a blade going across my forehead and be like, "This is how you make me feel."
Yeah, no, like if I get an accidental cut, like if my cat gets me hard enough that it draws blood, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
I love bleeding. Like, it feels so good. Like, I don't know, that's fucking weird. But, like, there's something to it, man. Like, yeah. Like, every
Yeah.
now and then I just want someone to, like, give me a good punch.
I find that more interesting than weird.
Yeah.
I want to know why that is. I know
I'm
you
the
probably
same
can't
way.
explain it. But
I also can't leave scabs alone.
No, because
Well, that's-
here's
nobody
I think
can do that.
here's the base reasoning
I know a lot of
of
people
it
that can.
for
They think
me
I'm weird.
is that I'm very enthralled with people who can be powerful yet damaged.
Yes.
Like when I see images of
I
people
love that. I
who
don't
are
love
like
that, but I think it's so interesting.
tattered and torn up and broken, because I think it almost goes back to and maybe if I'm really getting deep on this, I think pain gives you freedom in a way.
Yeah.
Like, pain gives you autonomy. Like, and it's hard to explain why, but, like, it's the same reason people love revenge movies to an extent. Where it's like, every revenge movie has to have the same basic beginning, which is that someone has been wronged in such a way that they are free to act in a way that they are not normally allowed to. You're not allowed to kill people, but if someone kills your wife and children, all of a sudden you've got carte blanche, morally, according to other people, to kill them. Yeah, the Punisher is a perfect example of that. His family's been killed, so you excuse his insane behaviors. And just imagery-wise, it conceptualizes, I think, that to me, when you see someone who's bleeding, you feel like this is someone who now has a new freedom because they're being held to new norms because of this current status they have.
What do you feel about bruises?
It depends where the bruise is. I think, like, black eyes are awesome. Like, but if you've got, like, a green bruise because you were, like, shooting a shotgun, I think that's kind of gross.
Oh.
Do you have, like, a green bruise somewhere? I
didn't have a dark one.
Oh, that's not bad. Like, I guess I'm just kind of, like, neutral on bruises.
I'm constantly getting bruised.
And then,
I get them, and I don't know how they happen.
There's a help associated with every one of them.
Probably.
You know, I think...
I'm surprised I don't... do I have one up here?
Hearing a lot of this conversation, we should probably just ship Wes and Erica together. I mean, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. We're shipping us together.
Let's just do it.
Someday you're just gonna walk in here, she's just gonna be beating the shit out of me while I masturbate.
Yes! Yes, now mow the lawn! Mow the lawn!
We do have a push.
Do you have any floss?
She's just gonna be putting a bag of lawn shavings on me.
And I do have a vein on the back of my leg.
You just, like, raise it as high as you can. Check this out.
No, I have a vein. Is it this leg? One of my legs have a vein in the back.
His eyes, mostly because of the snake, but still.
Snake.
Oh, I'm playing with the snake. Oh, shit. Oh.
He's okay.
And
he's had worse.
Oh, I heard that flop.
So should we go into
the
bad readings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
no. Finish your story about
sorry, we forgot about your story.
Well, another thing that she did that was dumb was that
everything.
Work can get pretty boring sometimes, so
I can only imagine.
There's an iPad there, and Casey and I have both really been into Magic the Gathering lately.
Yep.
The card game, I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
So we've been hitting that pretty hard lately.
It's been fun.
So I've been looking up, different deck ideas and researching stuff on the iPad, and she walked in once and she saw it. She's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I really like this card game, Magic the Gathering." She's like, have you ever played that? And she goes, "No, I played the Pokemon one for a little while, and that's about as far as it went."
It's
like,
not the
that's
same
still
thing.
cool. And we talked about it for a little bit, which I didn't mind getting into because it's like the only actual conversation that I've had with her that was two-sided and not just her rambling and me going,
yeah,
yeah, great. So we had this whole big conversation about these card games, and what she took away from that whole conversation was Lennon's a magician.
Oh God.
And I've seen her go up to somebody else and just be like, "Did you know he does magic?" And I'm like, "I don't do magic."
Oh my God.
It's it's really interesting. So here's this story that I just have to share because it's incredible. She told me once. So, did I ever tell you about the time that I just found this purple stuff? And I'm like, no. And she's like, I thought it was candy, so I tasted it. Turns out it was lighter fluid.
Jesus.
I love this part.
Here's the kicker. She goes, so to make sure, I tried it again. And yeah, it was lighter fluid. Oh my fucking
And then I thought it tasted kind of good, so I just drank the whole thing.
It's like that girl that drinks an ounce of gasoline a day.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Mm-mm.
Probably shouldn't do that.
No, she went to the doctor, and he's like, your entire butter.
Your entire butter.
Your entire butter is melting. Your entire body is failing.
Ugh. What candy does lighter fluid look like to you, people?
Purple.
I mean,
It looks like purple.
Yeah.
I love that purple.
It just blew my mind when she told me that. And to put her character into a little more perspective, she's one of those. She's the person who's just going to ask you random questions. And one thing that she said to me was, "What high school did you go to? Did you go to Gettysburg?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "Hanover?" "No." And she's like listing off a different place. "No." "Different place." "No." "Different place." Like 20 times
Did
at
she
least.
never list Big
She
Woodville?
never got it right. She never picked it. And she eventually goes, "Just tell me which one it is." I said, "Big Woodville." She goes, "No, you didn't." It's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I didn't go to Big
I just
Woodville.
made that up.
Yeah, I made it up just to piss you off.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't like talking to you. Ugh.
So bad grammar reading.
Bad grammar reading.
Yeah, speaking of morons.
Bad grammar reading.
Let's get into whatever we call this segment.
It's a new title every time.
Call it Say What? I don't know.
Meanwhile, Wes is wearing snake cuffs.
They're snake cuffs.
I didn't look at these beforehand, so if they suck, it's all Erica's fault.
I just sent all of the screen caps I had from my cousin.
Has the music queued up, Casey? Do you have the music ready?
Not yet.
Okay.
So do we just read them out loud?
The music?
Yep.
I read them, and then yeah. There's beautiful classical music behind
and these are all things my cousin
Shakespearean passages.
Yeah.
Now these are all things my cousin thought was okay.
I don't know what this is. Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Chapter 1.
Okay, now go.
Here it is.
I have to be sure to cue it up.
That cute
In post.
Chapter 1. If anyone where I can get a cheap gold cart.
Gold cart. He spelled go-kart as gold.
Is that what that was supposed to be?
A fucking go-kart.
I thought he was getting like a shopping cart from like Beverly Hills.
No, he wanted a damn gold cart. Fucking gold cart.
Gold cart.
Gold cart.
I'm kind of more in. Whoops, I accidentally skipped ahead. I'm kind of more into the beginning. If anyone where I can get.
That makes a valid sentence.
Yeah, that's how words work.
That's how sentence.
Those words.
Chapter 2. Nothing like being back behind a Ford again.
Does he have? Is he like limited? Like, I just want to get that out in the air.
No, he should have a perfectly normal brain.
Erica, is he a little bit special?
So behind, there's
behind,
no there's
Behine again is spelled AGIN.
Are there any spectrums you want to sell?
Not that I know of. Just redneck. Just
Redneck-
fucking
redneck
Adams
spectrum?
County.
Well, red is on a spectrum.
He is not red.
Can we make a sidebar real quick? Is anybody just an asshole anymore? Is everybody on the fucking spectrum? Like, everybody who acts like a fucking prick these days is like, well, you know, he's on the spectrum.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's a fucking asshole. Like, he's got no problems. Like, all of a sudden we started using, like, terminology that should be used for people who genuinely need assistance and ascribing them to people who are just fucking socially awkward pricks.
Yeah.
Like, everybody has an excuse these days for acting like a prick, and the thing I don't like about it is it gives them an excuse not to get better.
I know.
When you get mad at someone, all of a sudden you're the problem now.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's how my ex was. I mean, he did have autism, but he used it against everyone. You brought something up that he didn't like. That was your fault for bringing it up at that time.
Yeah.
It's really just
your fault for saying
politically
something.
correct whole whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of a sudden, like, there's a couple, like, safeguards that people can use, and, like, you can't make fun of race, you can't make fun of gender, you can't make fun of the intellectually disabled. I understand the merits of all of those, but I get really upset when people use them as a shield against anything they do personally. Like, anytime you unascribe your actions and, like, the reaction to people, like, you put people being upset on them, which is a big comic crime. It's a big comic crime. Like, I hate that. Like, oh, what's the Louis quote when, like, he's talking about, like, I just feel like no one's taking responsibility because it's easy to shirk it whenever you say, like, that's just what I do. Like, and that, because
boys will be boys, girls will be girls, that kind of thing.
Like, if you want to know if someone's an asshole, listen for someone to say, oh, that's just Wes being Wes. Yep. That means you're an asshole. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because, like, that's the way you are doesn't mean that change isn't available to you.
Yep.
Like, if you legitimately, and I've met people who I say, okay, legitimately, medically, you probably have a lot of problems connecting to people.
Yeah.
But you can tell right away if someone's that way. If you're just having a straight-up conversation with someone, and all of a sudden they just start acting like a prick, you're not like, you can't choose to be on the spectrum at this moment when it's convenient for you while you have no other struggles.
Yep.
Like, that's really upsetting to me because I think it protects assholes and it downgrades people who have legitimate issues because then everybody goes like, oh, your friend's on the spectrum? Probably a prick, right? Because they're so conditioned for people using it as an excuse for shitty behavior.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's just, I guess I just need that off my chest. Do you agree? Does anybody agree?
I absolutely agree because I've been saying it forever. I mean, I see it all the time as a teacher. You're told you can't do anything to this kid because it's got this problem. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
When I worked in Philadelphia, the kids that were in learning support weren't even kids with learning support issues. It was kids that just didn't want to be in the regular classes. Like, those kids didn't have learning support issues.
Yeah.
I watched them.
Had emotional issues or just didn't want to be there? Or what?
A little bit of both, but it was more of the, I don't want to be here, so now I can get away with this.
Oh.
Yeah. Not like out here where kids legitimately do have problems.
That's because the way that school works now is they're oh, honey, that's okay. If you're going to be like that,
I know, and I don't like that.
We'll put a special class for you to be in.
It's not even that. They get special attention in their regular classes, and if you do it to one, you got to give everyone that special treatment. So, yeah.
Speaking of people who are most definitely probably on the spectrum, but like no one's talked about it.
Mike Valek?
Charles Topher Baynard.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
The gigantic, well, he's not gigantic. He's like 6'4". He's a big black fella who does comedy, and I say that he does comedy kind of like Mike Valek does comedy.
He's up here. Worm.
Where he just gets up on stage and talks, but he says these things where you're like, oh my god, like no one ever told him. No one ever told him he's on the spectrum. And he says awful, awful things because he doesn't like understand right from wrong.
How long has this person been around the comedy scene? I've
Couple
never
months.
seen him.
Oh, okay.
Like, everybody hated him at first because he's the guy, did I tell you about the guy who got the cops called him in his stitches? Who was giving people alcohol in the bathroom?
Really?
Oh, I never told you about that?
No.
We were doing the Stitches...
Bad grammar reading's going to have to wait.
It will have to wait.
Yeah.
We were at the Stitches comedy competition together, and he shows up with a half-smoked joint in his ear, and he has a back...
In his ear?
Like, yeah. Like
I know you mean
hair's
behind.
on
I just
fire.
picture it in his ear.
And he has a backpack full of half-drank liquor bottles. And he stumbles in, and he makes it to the bathroom, and he sits down in the bathroom, takes the backpack off, and starts offering people coming into the bathroom drinks out of his half-empty bottles, right?
Wow.
That's how the evening begins. He gets up on stage with a bottle of Hennessy in his hand. And he has this weird verbal tick where he goes, so, you know, I'm just talking about the street,
Yeah.
And he's doing that.
Do that.
He's so blackout drunk that he tells the same story twice.
Wow.
In a row? Is it
Verbatim,
in a row?
verbatim, back to back.
Oh, God.
Like, I won't say it here, but, like, he begins every set with, my name is Charles, and I'm a professional side N-word. And then he has this bit where he's like, so I'm fucking this girl who has a retarded kid, right? Like, just saying awful shit.
Yeah, don't let him.
You're laughing at him the entire time.
Of course.
He's just blitzed. So he tells this story back to back. He gets off stage.
Blitzer.
No, and the reason everybody hated him in the beginning is because every time he showed up to a mic or anything, he'd bring like 30 people.
Wow.
And they would be raucous assholes.
Oh, like
You know
that
what I mean?
one time at the Comedy Zone, that party.
Yeah.
That
You mean
clam
any party at the comedy zone?
True.
The
The drunk clam party.
Drunk clam party. I don't think I was there for that, but I heard about it.
But then after his set, he goes outside and gets in a fight with an obese woman wearing a leopard print, like, stretchy unitard.
Can I be honest with you? That's how I picture Stitches all the time.
Yeah.
Where are Stitches?
Lancaster.
Lancaster, yeah.
But
I'll be sure to stay away from it then.
Yeah. It's next to a hotel, like connected to a hotel.
I don't think much of Stitches.
I like Stitches. I've always had a good time there.
It's because you like getting hurt.
True.
Ah!
I don't know. I get over there. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, the cops got called and he had to flee. But the other day he said
He had a flea.
he said something to me that was so insane. He said, I'm thinking about trying to sell people. And I was like, and I was like, sell people what? And he's like, no, like them. I want to sell people. And I was like, you want to sell human beings like a pimp? He's like, no, like the bodies. And I was like,
Just the bodies?
I was like,
Dead bodies?
No, yeah. I was like, what? He's like, like slaves. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, no, don't be wrong. When I say people, I don't mean like people, I mean like women. I swear to God, that's what he said.
Wow.
And then in the same night, another quote of the night that he railed me with is we were talking. Oh, it went back to the conversation we were having earlier about like how much money would it take for you to suck a dick. Mm-hmm. And his quote of the night was, "I would rather raise my kid than suck a dick." What?
Oh my God.
I would rather raise my kid. Which he made it sound like that was an awful thing that he would still be willing to do.
Of course, yeah.
He is not helping.
No.
anything
anywhere. And the funny thing is, the other black comics hate him with such rage because he represents every awful stereotype.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, this week he pulled out one that floored us, where he got up on stage and was like, so I was drinking cough syrup and smoking blunts, and I was watching some TV.
And then I had some blunt syrup.
And you know what was real good? Pitch Perfect 2. And we were like, what? He was like, yeah, it was so good, I watched Pitch Perfect 1, then I watched Rent. Think about how long he had to have been drinking cough syrup and smoking weed to get through both Pitch Perfects and Rent. That's a solid 8 hours of musicals that this giant drug dealer had to sit on his couch and watch. Like, I just want to study him like Jane Goodall. I want to just follow him around with a fucking notepad. I cut off how that sentence was going to end because I realized it was going to a racist place. But I just want it to be Charles in the Mist, and I just want to follow him around and study his habits.
Oh my
There's
god!
a lot of people around here worth studying. I'll tell you that.
I need to meet this person.
It's like the study capital of Pennsylvania.
It can end after 1.
Like, one time we were eating in a diner, and he's like, they say the worst part of prison's the beatings, but actually it's about being hungry. And then he just kept eating food. Because he goes to prison all the time. He goes to, no, the magic moment for him is...
So do we say he's worse than Alan?
He's much better on stage because you actually laugh.
Oh.
He recently went to prison, and we were like, why did you go to prison? He's like, I have no idea why. And then we looked at his Facebook profile, and his profile picture was him driving a car and drinking a bottle of liquor. And we were like, I bet I can figure out why you went to prison.
Come on, gang, let's split up and search for clues.
All right, Scoob.
But he's someone where, I've learned to like him because I legitimately think a lot of people, and Erica, I think because of you being a teacher, you probably can attest to this. I think a lot of people who come from low-income families who have limitations often don't get the proper diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
I think he legitimately...
I could name one child.
I've known people like that where, and especially, I don't want to stereotype, but I think it's common in the black community to not diagnose children because they see it as a sign of weakness. Mm-hmm. Where they
or also they can't afford it.
Culturally, I think it's kind of like a stigma for them to say, my son has autism or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, I'm not saying he's, awful. He's a guy who you can have a perfect conversation with. But when you hear him, you're like, this is a guy who legitimately doesn't understand social norms.
Yeah.
He's so removed that he doesn't understand why what he was saying would affect anybody.
Yeah. And it also may not be... It also... Then you have to ask, is it nature or is it nurture? Were they raised to think that's how they're supposed to be? Or was that how they were born and then just...
I'm sure it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
Because, that's the funny thing about, a guy like Nate Marshall is sometimes he'll get up and do things that, at the Lizard Lounge we generally find funny. But he gets really upset sometimes when people get upset with him. Because I know just from having, hung out with him, he is, in his group of friends, by far the most progressive person.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And
I can get that.
And when he goes to an audience that's more liberal than him, he gets upset because he sees himself as very open-minded.
Yeah.
For his group of friends.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when people are like, "Oh, you hate women," he's like, in his mind, he's like, "Of all my friends, I love women the most.
Right.
Yeah.
How can you possibly be upset with what I just said?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I can see the cultural side of that, where a lot of people are kind of like, are you kidding me? I'm the liberal one. You guys are a problem, you know?
Yep.
Huh.
I can get that.
That's a very interesting analysis.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never thought of anything like that. Speaking of Alan, I haven't been doing an open mic or anything like that.
It's been forever since we went on.
Is he still
awful?
The same? Yeah.
Forever awful.
I wish there were open mics around.
No, I accidentally bullied him really hard.
Not going
to. Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Because... you know how he'll just drop in on conversations?
Yeah, yes. All the time? Yeah.
I was talking to Mike Minnick, and I was making fun of some old woman I'd seen, and I was like, "Oh, sweetie, blah, 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 blah." And he had heard that, and he tried to shuffle over to join our conversation, but it took him a while to work through the crowd to get to us. So by the time he got to us, we had moved on, and I was smoking a cigarette talking to Mike Minnick, and I couldn't quite hear him. He was standing about 5 feet away. And I realize now in retrospect, he was trying to build off of my impersonation poorly. Mm-hmm. And so he feigned like he was smoking a cigarette and started doing an impersonation. But I had forgotten what we were talking about, so I thought he was making fun of me. And I was like, "Hey, you fucking talking to me?" And he's all of a sudden, his face just droops. He's like, what? like I could tell, like, in retrospect, it all makes sense now, where he thought, like, he's like, hey, gang, we're just having a fun conversation. I'm like, are you fucking talking to me? Are you talking to me? And, like, I stand up, and, like, he's starting to walk backwards, and he's like, no, the person, and I was like, why don't you go fucking sit down? Like, we don't need you to be talking around us. And, like, I'm just, like, talking down to him. He's like, and, like, he just, like, goes back to his seat and, like, dejectedly sits down. And I was like, yeah, you just stay there. And I just walked back, and I was like, anyway. And Mike's like, Jesus, dude. He's like, you just filleted him. And I was like, yeah, well, he was kind of talking shit. And he's like, no, he was doing an impersonation of the person you were talking about. And I was like, oh. After I just completely stole his manhood in front of an audience of just being like, who are you? You talking to me? Sit down. Hey, sit down. Just like talking to him like a child who had stolen a cookie.
That's beautiful.
Oh my god. Oh, that man, I honestly don't know what to think about him.
No words.
I really, it's so hard to articulate if
Mundane.
If I hate him a lot or just a little. He's like a parasite.
He really wants to be part of the group, though.
He does.
That's part of the
But
parasite.
if he didn't talk so much about
himself,
how great he
all
is.
His disgusting jokes that he thinks is funny.
Or about
I can't even remember.
If he still does it, but all the time you talk about how he fucking kills it all the time.
Oh yeah,
right.
That's what got me more than anything else.
Yeah,
He's like, I fucking killed it at the mic tonight.
No,
we wanted to kill you. That's how that goes.
And the thing is, he just seems impervious to reality, which honestly, like, I'm kind of jealous of. Like, just to completely not be affected by actual things.
Yeah.
Like, I just saw him at a mic the other night, and, like, he got up, and the crowd no-sold him so hard you could hear, like, people, like, drinking, and, like, you know what I mean? Ooh. And then he got off, and he's like, that was pretty good. I was pretty happy with that. I was like, how?
Yeah, exactly.
How?
No one booed him. That's how he was good.
Yeah, nothing.
He told me he went to a mic that was like a mixed mic of comedy and music,
right?
And did so poorly that the next week he showed up and they had a sign that said no comedians.
I buy that. I absolutely believe that. First off, having a mic like that doesn't work very well for
no
comedian. Ever. So having the deck stacked against him to begin with, that's ooh.
And it's just. He purposely just says trigger words to try to upset people, which is the sign of
like
a really
how he constantly talks about rape.
There's a right way and wrong way to talk about everything, but just to shout a word to hopefully get a response is like a juvenile thing.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite jokes right now, a good buddy of mine out in Lewisburg, who you might know. Do you know Mike Carpenter?
Yeah. Is he the guy who ends every joke with "thank you"?
Yeah.
I love that guy.
He has a joke where he's talking about his girlfriend has uterine scarring, and he rattles off a bunch of things that his girlfriend's uterus looks like. Yeah. And at one point he goes, "My girlfriend's uterus looks like LeVar Burton's eyes from Star Trek, and LeVar Burton's back from Roots." Every time he hits that tag, I just die. Yep. And like that's such a layered kind of offensive concept that works. Yeah. Just because it's just like, I don't know, just the presentation of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because LeVar Burton's back from Roots, not funny in of itself.
No.
Uterine scarring, not funny in of itself.
Yeah. No.
But just like the presentation of the delivery, like, I think that's funny. And I think if you're a comedian, there's ways to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
But I think that an audience will immediately turn on you if you are without any self-reflection punching down.
Right.
If you are without... Because... I think the trick to punching down is to
kind of punch yourself down with it.
Is the wink and nod of punching down successfully is that you're actually the punchline. Right. You being a dummy for thinking that is the actual punchline of the joke.
Yes.
Like, if you have a racist, sexist kind of inclination of any way, like, you have to be the joke of whatever you're saying.
Yeah. You got to at least give off the vibe of... This is that it's not entirely what your thinking process is.
And I know that's kind of like a tricky, abstract thing to say, but like if you're saying some ignorant shit, the joke has to be, I'm an ignorant asshole.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with somebody like Alan, you You don't get that.
No.
Speaking of ignorant assholes.
He just is one.
Oh my god, over here.
Hey,
Yeah,
transition.
let's finish that.
Yeah,
the
the music dropped
Third
off
one.
there somewhere when we started talking about holes.
Yeah.
It should go... Speed back up.
Your snake's into choking.
Told you.
I'll just press the play button over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Chapter 3. Who brings their 4-month-old to the damn race? Some people can't use their damn.
And no N, and that just D-A-M.
Yeah.
They're better off with a reservoir. Am I right?
Right?
Am I right?
Am I right, folks? Oh.
I'll be here all week.
By the way, I want it to be known to everybody, in all of these, punctuation does not exist.
There aren't any. It's just words.
Is he the guy? Okay, I know I keep getting these two people.
He met him at Bingus one night.
Yes, you said that before.
Yeah.
Is he the guy who does the space period space?
No, that was
See, I get it wrong every time.
Margaret.
Margaret.
Yeah.
Damn it, Margaret.
By the way, month has no letter H. Let's let that be known across the land. Mont. Yeah, they're 4-month-old to the damn race.
That just paints such a picture. Like, that is our generation's version of
Let me get a
baby
picture of...
shoes for sale, never used. Like that presents such... Does anyone know what that reference is? Can anybody? Okay.
Oh, it sounds familiar.
Let me just find you a picture of him and his fiance.
Read Hemingway, you rubes.
And then you can understand.
I've read one Hemingway. Just one.
Yeah, I've read one Hemingway.
Doesn't that help?
I have read one Hemingway.
Oh my god. Okay.
Right.
I read ahead a little.
That's him and his fiance.
Oh, she looks like Kirby. Was that real mean? She looks.
Okay,
yeah.
listen. The last.
Oh my god.
He looks like he's propping her up, although I know that's physically impossible.
Who's the big healing Pokemon with the egg in its belly?
Chansey.
Yeah, it looks like Chansey.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to hide behind her.
Like, it looks like she's gonna
Erica.
spec D-wall me in an online battle.
You need to send me that picture so I can Photoshop
Okay,
that.
I will.
Yeah, the last time we brought up...
Put his head as the egg in her belly.
Last time we brought up
He's into that.
Last time we brought up this picture, we were about as mean. So it's
Hell
okay.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You should see the one of her out in the snow and her eyes going different directions.
Yeah, that one was terrifying.
If I ever got around her, I just need one nerd so I can just drop a million Pokemon references. Just be like, it's a real double edge. This egg is soft-boiled. It's just like, why do you keep saying weird things to me? Well, I'm just high-fiving someone else who's mean.
Yeah, I think when I saw that picture, the initial picture that you just showed him, that may have been the hardest I've ever laughed.
Oh yeah.
I like to assume when she eats things, she takes on their attributes.
Yeah, that's the...
Like, if she ate Lennon, she'd just grow a ponytail.
Alright, well, let's...
Oh my god.
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
Oh god!
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
What the fuck is... Okay. Yeah, and freaking Ob still don't have a radio. Everyone else is the excuse is because she is with me on weekends.
What? Wait, let me read this.
Yeah.
Wow,
And I'm going to read it the way God meant for language to be read.
Alright, here we go.
Yay! And freaking Ob still don't have a radio. Everyone else is the excuse is because she is with me on weekends. What could that possibly mean?
Side note, I'm glad you actually said yay the right
Something
way.
about
Why
people
yay
have
is
been
yay.
saying that he's cheating on her
So many people
on the weekends.
So many people are guilty of that.
Because I went on to read the comments, and that's what made sense out of the comments. That people thought he was cheating on her, and he's with her on weekends, so it's impossible for him to cheat on her on weekends.
What does that have?
But I don't know how
what
to
is
do with
this-
the radio.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What does that
Does
have to
he
do with the
talk
radio?
like a moron? Or is he just like illiterate?
I
I
don't
think
know.
all
I
of his
haven't
sentences
seen
end-
him in a long
I'm
time.
pretty sure all of his sentences end with.
Probably. Next.
So that was number 4, right? Alright, there's 10 of these, and then
This
we
is
gotta
number
wrap
5.
it up.
This is 5.
Chapter 5. I know you will. We just have to prove people wrong. Some people are just Juice of is.
I know I'm juice.
Some people are just jewels.
Jealous. Julous.
I I'd love to spell out Erica's last.
Julius of Iz.
They're amazing.
Julius of Iz, sequel to Wizard of Oz.
I know this girl named Sarah who goes
Erica,
to...
don't swallow your gum, jeez.
Yeah.
I know this girl who goes to...
I think we should just wait and let the magic happen.
I know you will. We just have to prove people wrong.
Jules,
Don't we all?
Julius of Iz.
Popped the vein just now.
Stop! Ringing.
Time's up.
Stop ringing. Stop ringing.
Done. Hello?
I think I picked up the phone and it answered on. Let me mute it. Hold on.
I was gonna say, are we fucking
Keep going.
We'll cut this part
Larry King now? Wisconsin, hello.
That's how he talked. I never heard him talk.
Put it on speaker.
Yeah. Oh, this is a big one. 6, right?
Chapter 6.
Shh.
You don't know. I'm
Good-
leaving this part in. I
Good
don't even
lord.
care.
Oh, yeah, absolutely you are. Are you okay? You look scared.
It's all done.
The phone that cried ring.
Okay.
Okay, chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
Whatever.
I think it's 6.
I was born at my mom's 6-month time frame. Makes sense.
That is the only part.
My lungs were not matured. Of course, that was in the last 70s. Times have changed, and if they can keep him in, great. Grate. But it becomes a problem for you or him. They will do what is needed for you both. Sending loves and pray, cuz.
Sending
I
love
think
and
that tells us a
pray.
lot of things.
Loves.
Loves and
All
pray.
of these sentences look like someone's just really bad at programming HTML. And like they keep trying it out and they're like, Christ.
I love, of course, is now if course, C-O-R-S-E. If course, that was in the last 70s.
Not this 70s.
Not this one. 18,
Not
yeah.
the future 70s.
Yeah.
The last 70s.
Well,
Yep.
of course is of course, unless
Yeah.
you're from the south.
Number 7.
No.
Chapter sometime.
Hold on.
Chapter eventually.
Okay.
That's been this whole podcast.
So what is the quintessential post from him that we always talk about? It's the
tranny fluid?
what was that one again? How does that go?
Nothing like smelling tranny fluid. Well, anyway, thanks for the birthday wishes.
Birthday wishes.
Birthday.
Yeah. This one seems like a sequel to that one.
Ah.
No luck at all, tranny problems now.
It's more like problems.
Oh, it is. It's Pro Blooms. It's like Jeff Goldblum.
And then he comments.
It's Jeff. It's Jeff Probst and Jeff Goldblum together.
Pro
Form
Blooms.
Jeff Pro Blooms.
But he has to make sure they know what he's talking about. So
Oh, there is a comment down here. Tranny
Tranny
Pro
Pro
Blooms. No, it's still Pro Blooms. It's unchanged.
tranny problems.
Yeah.
Someone's
I
probably
wanna
like,
know.
what?
Here's what I gotta know about these people.
I want to know.
How am I related to them?
No. I want to know
What
in
love
the
is?
days in the days of rampant autocorrect fucking up everybody's thing, like all the time.
Yeah.
You
What's
see,
worse is he
here's 20 autocorrect things. Is autocorrect just broken in these people's lives?
I mean, he has a phone, so I
Yeah.
know he's typing most of these
Yeah.
from his phone.
Has the
Maybe
phone
you
just
just turned it
given
off.
up?
I think the phone just said, dude, whatever you type, it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a word? Sure, why not?
Well, I'll add
Sure.
a picture.
That one. Oh, I crashed. There we
Awesome.
go. Is it back? Hold on. I don't know.
It's blinking.
There it is.
Okay.
It's back. All right.
Awesome.
And we're back.
You feel free to ignore those sounds if you so choose.
I'll just take care of it like I always take care of the
What
what happens in your mic.
Bothers the fuck out of me.
I was going to say there's a mustache in his mic.
Chapter
8.
8. Thank you. These bastards think they own the road. I don't know how many times I came close to smacking them because they won't move over to the side. That was not so bad.
It was just the
Except
beginning.
bastards.
Bastards.
These bastards think they own
Bass
the
Pro
road.
Shops.
Yeah, that one's there.
Yeah.
You fucked up on that.
I just like the Bastards.
The
You
Bastards
done
thing.
fucked up, Ron.
Chapter 9. Also a long one. People just need to leave me and Aubrey alone just because
There's
I broke
multiple
up.
of her?
No, it has her last name, but I didn't want to give it full.
Oh.
By the way, it's Anne Aubrey. People just need to leave me and Aubrey alone just because I broke up with you like a year and a half ago doesn't, without an E, D-O-S-N-T, no apostrophe.
Don't.
Of course,
Doesn't.
doesn't mean to keep stroking me and her grow the fuck up and
really
keep us out of her stupid pity drama shit. Thank you very much.
It's like
My rant is over this evening.
It's like someone's falling down the stairs.
Irony in somebody spelling stupid. S-T-U-I-P-E-D.
What does he do for a living?
He works with
Works
tranny
with
fluid.
trucking or
He
something.
goes.
He works with tranny fluid.
Yeah.
I think that one might be my favorite.
My mouth is broken.
That's pretty up there. People just need to leave me and Aubrey.
Well,
And
if we
finally-
can lift her up and take her there.
That's true. I know we're going to need a crane. We're going to take out a wall.
Last one.
Chapter 10. This shit needs to end. Tired of hearing it. Ward got out of his car while wearing all black. How can you see that at night? What? That's a terrible one to end on. There's not even a misspelling other than you just being a
It just
you.
made no sense.
Let me give a comment of my own.
You didn't have to read them in that order anyway.
I recently was on Andy Malafrina's show.
Yeah.
The Dope Show?
The show.
Yeah.
The
Well,
show.
it's the recorded version.
He always advertises the Dope Show.
It is what it is, but I like to try and get as many opportunities to get out there and do comic stuff as possible.
Yeah.
Lemaire Lee put our video, like the one I was on Reddit, thinking like, oh, this will be a good way to share it. It got downloaded like 7,000 times.
Whoa.
And like everybody, like the people in the chat room that he put it in aggressively hated it. And Lemaire, in the description for the video, put, we want it to be like Tough Crowd. And all day he had been sending me negative comments we were getting. Because at some point it was just like, great. But the description for the video is, we want it to be like Tough Crowd. My favorite comment I found, and I saved it on my phone, is, I hope it will just be like Tough Crowd. And by that I mean, I hope that half the regulars die prematurely.
Oh.
And I was like, you know what? Troll away, because that's pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, yeah. Reddit has some
No,
good people
not
behind
true.
The weird thing for me is I don't have anything to report from Tumblr and haven't for the
I wish
longest
that
time.
theme song was longer because I get it stuck in my head all the time.
it. So do I.
No, not a troll.
It's the end of the song. So we got to wrap it up here because we have to get moving here.
Holy
quite
yeah, you
shortly.
do.
Quite shortly.
When did it become four?
We have shirts.
We
got
do.
Shirts.
That's going to be put at the beginning of the podcast, but
It
we'll
is.
end it at the same
Well,
time,
we
just
do-
so you
I
people
wanted to put
remember.
it in the middle too, but I didn't have. I forgot honestly.
Yeah, well, it's...
So we started selling shirts that say the Groupcast, a podcast about everything.
Yep.
They're beautiful. They are 24.
No, 20.
20.
Yep.
There's like $4 shipping, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes out to 24. Which,
Yes.
honestly, for a pretty nice T-shirt, isn't a bad,
Yeah.
not a bad deal overall.
I've bought shirts from those kind of things before where they do the test thing, and if enough sell, they ship it out.
Yeah,
I
that's what it
made
is.
I
If-
made
if-
the goal 10 shirts.
Yes, if we sell,
Because I think
if orders come in for 10 shirts, they ship out. If
Well-
we don't hit 10, you don't pay, and shirts don't go.
they're print. Okay, here's how it works.
Yeah.
If you hit 3 shirts,
Yeah.
they printed.
Oh, okay.
But if we hit 10, then we accomplished our goal and everything.
Okay.
They'll still ship out.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
But
then.
they won't ship if we stay at where we are right now. But there are 17
Yeah.
days left as of now.
As of right
That's
now.
how I got 2 of my Ghost Pope shirts.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Wes, if you want to support the show,
Wes, you're gonna buy a fucking shirt, right?
Gonna
Wes,
buy-
you're gonna buy a
Gonna
fucking
buy the
shirt?
suit metal shirt.
If you're listening to this, I'm going to buy all kinds of shirts. I'm going to buy so many shirts.
All one of you listening.
Wes saw the prototypes for the other
the other
shirt
potential
ideas
ones
that we're pitching.
Well, like I said at the beginning for the ad read / message thing, we'll make more if we hit our goal.
I mean, I think the alternatives are better because, and obviously you should edit this out. I think they're boring.
Okay.
I think they're dreadfully boring. The plain print shirts, I have no idea why someone would want to wear one.
Okay.
It just says group cast.
I get that.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
I'd
no one
much
knows
rather
what
have
it is.
soup metal.
Yes.
Well,
even if you don't know this podcast, that's an interesting enough shirt that I think people would be like, okay, I'm on board for that.
Well,
that's quirky and weird.
That's the one we're going for next for sure because I like that one the best.
Yeah, same here. Okay.
But yeah, keep in the audio of me saying I'll buy a bunch.
Not the dumb. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm excited to see how well that does.
Yeah.
I hope it's something that...
So get on that, people,
Works
because I
out
know
for us.
at least 20 people listen to this show every week.
Right.
They get 20 individual.
And the people who have
You
time
all
to
out
listen to
there
this
in
podcast
podcast
definitely
land.
have disposable income.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So help us out,
Cool.
people.
Yeah, be cool
I
out
know,
there.
I
It's
know.
a-
I know.
it's-
None of you
it's
like commenting
linked-
on anything.
It's
No.
link number 1 down below.
Yep.
In the description area.
If you buy a group cast shirt, Wes Williams perform in your house for
He
free.
will give you free
As
head.
long as you have floss. As long
And
a
lawnmowers.
push
mowing the lawn is a plus.
If you mow the lawn and give me floss, I will perform a 15-minute set in a setting of your choosing. And also buy a group cast shirt.
Troll, oh, not a troll.
And if you punch me during sex, I'll buy you the shirt.
Hell, I'll buy you
Something
all the
seems
shirts.
weird with my mic. I don't
Well, let's
know.
end it off before that happens again.
Yeah.
Alright, you guys, eat pussy, hail Satan.
Bye.
And on that bombshell, good
It
night,
died.
everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.